I'm going to scan some old photographs for the next couple of lessons. You can add plugins to GIMP so that you can directly import scanned images right into the program. But your best bet is really just to go ahead and use the scanner software that came with your scanner. Using GIMP or any application is just an extra headache, and the best possible image is going to come from your scanner software. My scanner is really old, and so I had to install this program, MP Navigator EX. It's no longer available for Windows 10, but I did find a copy of it on a British website, support for Canon. What I did was I came in, went into all programs. This was after I installed it. Canon Utilities, right-clicked on the application. Yours will be different, of course, but just find your scanning application, go to Properties, and then under Compatibility, I check this box and set it to run in Windows 8 mode. And so far so good. So I don't have to buy another flatbed scanner. So let's go ahead and scan here. I've got it set up for a color photo. I'm having it scanned at the highest possible resolutions. I have the option to save it as a TIFF. Oh, and then this right here. I went ahead and set it to open up with GIMP. So in my particular program, I just navigated to the C drive program files, GIMP2 folder, then the bin folder within the GIMP2 folder, and selected GIMP 2.8, the application. So with that set, let's go ahead, I'll click apply just in case I made any changes there. Let's go ahead and scan. And it launches into GIMP as a TIFF. What could be better? Now, your scanner software might not designate a program to do that, but if you just go ahead and scan it as a TIFF in a JPEG, and it will most likely save it in the Pictures folder or My Pictures somewhere in the profile on your computer. So, for this particular lesson, I think I'm going to come in and use the rectangle selection tool to grab this image. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it as a new image so that I can work on it. So you can see this is a picture from September 1960. I'm on the left. My brother Christian is in the center, and on the right is my grandmother Nami, who lived to be 96 years old. Certainly in the top 5 greatest people I've ever known. This picture is faded, and it's not very bright, and we just can't darken it. It's going to take several steps to adjust this. Now, the picture that you're working on is going to be different, but I'm just going to go through and show you where some of these color adjustments are so that we can try to rescue as much as we can of this old picture. 1960. Doesn't seem very old to me, but anyways, I'm going to spend a lot of time up here under colors, and they're sort of in a logical order here, but I'm going to go to brightness and contrast first just to see what I can do. Obviously, if I make it real bright real quick, it just gets more washed out. Let's see what happens with our contrast. Usually when we adjust one, we have to adjust the other. Well, I'm just going to bring them both up for now because I know what's coming up in a couple of steps. That's already better. We can see a little bit more detail in the background, the trees. Can almost tell that this is a blue spruce tree over there. So we'll say okay to that. Then I'm going to come into the levels. Now, the book talks about looking at histograms, and as we can see here overall, it's sort of, you know, the lightness is all pushed over to the right. Now I can grab this triangle and adjust it, but that doesn't help me much. But boy, that sure helps. Cutting off some of that extra brightness. It was here in the middle, and pulling it this way really helped. Now there's not much I can do over here. This is the very brightest part of the picture. Those are the 255, 255 pixels, and they're pushed all the way over, and you can see that they're cut off. So pulling this over really doesn't have much of an effect. But that helps a whole bunch. Now down here we have some tools for setting the white balance. So as I mouse over the first one, and you do them in the order from left to right, but I always like to try auto first. Well, boy, that certainly made a change. Let's see what we can do individually. Now, this eyedropper asks us to pick a black point, and I really don't see any except maybe Nami's hair right in here. That's probably black. So I click on that. It certainly brought out more greens, but we're not done yet. Now here, this eyedropper wants us to pick a gray point, and that's harder, but I'm just going to choose this bench. I don't remember if it was painted or what, but that's probably, but yet better yet, I bet this little footing down here is concrete. So I'll click on that and see what I get. I didn't get any change. Not much change there. So the grays are fairly in balance. Let's pick the white point now. And that's a little bit easier because I'm pretty sure these little sailor suits were white, and that really helps to adjust the whites. So we'll say OK to that for now. I want to go in and further refine the picture now. It's still pretty dark in the background, although it's a lot better than it was before. Same with the foreground. Let's go into 100%, and I'm even going to go and zoom in a little bit more here so that you can see the individual pixels. It's entirely possible that if I had a better scanner, we wouldn't have to do quite so much correcting. But in any event, I want to try to get out some of the graininess. So I'm going to come up into the filters, and the first one I'm going to look at is the noise filter. Now noise usually gets brought into an image when there's not enough light, or in this case, lousy scanner. And at the same time, I can't blame it all on the scanner because the picture wasn't very good to begin with. It can only do so much. So I'm going to try RGB noise, and we're in a good spot for a preview here. Looking at my brother Chris. And let's go ahead, and first of all, the default is typically checked for independent red, green, and blue adjustments of noise. So let's just change that one. Pulling it down doesn't really do much good. Green, now I see a little bit of improvement there. Blue, hardly noticeable. So I'll just go ahead and set them all to back up to 18. And I'm going to uncheck this box, and I'm going to pull them down together. Well, it certainly helps. So let's say OK. And what else we got up here? Under filters, enhance, let's try to sharpen it just a little bit. Now sharpening actually brings in a little bit of noise, so we might just be undoing what we just completed with the noise RGB filter. Now we certainly don't want to add sharpness. Now I think that one we're just going to abandon. But that helps. Next I'm going to come back to where we started with colors, and I'm going to go to hue and saturation because it looks a little oversaturated to me. My arms really aren't that red, so let's just try pulling some of the colors out of there. See, it almost takes it to a grayscale image. Let's try, see what the lightness does for us. Okay, that helps because now I can see the individual blades of grass better. And let's try the hue. No, that's adding green and blue shifts to it. So we'll just set that back to 0. And I'll show you one last adjustment that you can make from the colors menu, and that is curves. And I really like using curves. I'm not sure I can explain to you how they work, to be honest, but we can adjust the value or the overall channel, basically the brightness of the picture, and then the individual red, green, blue, and alpha channels. Now what I'll do when I come in here to work with it is I'll just go ahead and first of all take a look where my pixels are. And they're right down here in the histogram, and they're just not very amplified, not in the value area anyways. So I'm just going to kind of click towards the middle of that, and I'm going to pull the curve up. Now that adds a little bit of overall brightness to it, especially the darker values in the back. Let's reset that so you can see the difference. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just pull that up a little bit there. And when you're working on your picture, just grab it and experiment. Okay? Now, you're not limited to just one adjustment. If up here in the brighter areas, if I wanted to turn those down, I could grab this curve and add another point and pull it down if I wanted to. But I don't like what that's doing, so I'm just going to go ahead and smooth that curve back out. You can adjust the individual channels if you want. I've got some pictures that could definitely have some red taken out of them, and now it's showing us where the reds are, so you could grab it and bump them up or bump them down. Make very small adjustments. I'm just going to leave that one alone. I'm going to say OK and call it good for adjusting the colors. To finish it up, I'm just going to do a little bit of clone work. I'm going to use a medium soft brush. What's that size look like? That looks pretty good for what I want to do. And so I'm just going to tap on the control key here, and these look like some sort of ink spots. There's another one right in here. So smaller brush, and I'm just going to grab the edge of the pool and stamp that out. Looks like there's, again, these just look like green ink spots or something. I'm not sure where they came from. Oh, I need to grab closer, so I want to do that. I'll select down here while holding down the control key and then just hit that with kind of like a cookie cutter. What else we got? Oh, there's some spots. Now, I'm not really sure what that is on Nami's dress, but I think she'd be disappointed to see that it's there. So we'll take care of that. There's some more spots. And what else we got? Oh, let's see. It looks like we might need to straighten this. Let's double check it. Boy, that's just about as good as you can get. So I'm guessing this black up here is maybe just a shadow from the scanner or something. But since we're in the clone tool, there we go. Go ahead and select, give myself a little bit bigger brush, and then come up and paint along here. Do the same thing down here. They don't have pictures with borders like this anymore. I mean, maybe you can special order them, but don't really know what that spot is, to be honest. But I'm just gonna blurt it out. Likewise down here. A few more spots up there, but you get the overall idea. So what did we start with? We started with that. And what do we end up with? We ended up with this. And I could probably, if I spend another 15 minutes on it, maybe get it 10% better. There's only so much you can do with a low quality scanner and a picture that's really faded, like this one is, but that's a heck of an improvement. So whether you did this one or did one of your own, I hope it really turned out good, if not better. Look forward to seeing your results. If you have any questions along the way, just let me know.